Good evening. It's Friday evening and it's a Sid Says North London special where we'll be discussing the best 11. If we could do a combined team for the weekend, which one would it be? As obviously, if you've not forgotten, it is the North London Derby tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff. Joining me is my main man on a Friday evening, my deck to the ant, or my laurel to the hardy, or my Morecambe to my wise, or whatever you want to call it, Mr. Sam Spurs for life. Good evening, Sam, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You could have been a bit careful there. My dick. I thought you were going to say I'm a dick then when you said my, but it was dick. So I'll forgive you. That could have been a start to the show. I was like, what's he saying? Anyway, thank you.
That would have been fun. Yeah,
I'm good, thank you.
Good. We've been discussing it. You've probably seen it all over social media, all over the TV, all everywhere, anywhere. And I'm going to ask you again. You've been asked a question before. How are you feeling? We're literally, how many hours? 9, about 12, 17 hours away from kickoff. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm excited, Sid. As I said yesterday, we've been on a couple of preview shows already. It's exciting because at the end of the day, I think you kind of explained it enough. I think Arsenal have got everything to lose. We've got everything to gain. If we don't pick up the points, we've only won twice there in the league anyway. Not to say that that's the type of attitude I'm taking, but what I'm saying is it's not a nail in the coffin for us. If we can pick up a point, pick up 3 points, that just keeps that momentum going, unbeaten to the season. And I think it will be good. And Arsenal will probably be in the mud if they don't pick up a result tomorrow, i.e. a win. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let's just see what the performance is like from the boys.
I think, performance. And also I think there's a lot of emphasis on team sheets for tomorrow because both the managers are holding their cards very tight to their chest. So we don't know what's going to happen. And I think half an hour before kickoff is when we're going to find out. And then that's when the shenanigans and people will start, obviously, depending on who's in the lineup and who's not. That's when it all starts happening. So as you may have not seen this week, everybody and anyone involved with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and Arsenal FC have been doing this combined 11. And I thought, I had the idea anyway, but obviously it's Friday evening and a lot of people have beaten me to it. I've left it a couple of hours before kickoff, but everyone else has done theirs. It's divided opinions on social media. There's there's fans putting in Arsenal, all the Arsenal 11s. There's Tottenham fans putting in all Tottenham 11 players. And it's everyone's opinion. It's their own opinion. Everyone's entitled to opinion. And basically, it's who we think. So the plan was I was going to get you to do your team. And then I was going to do my team. And then we was going to discuss it, see who we picked separately and have a discussion. But then put my head together with yours. And rather than doing two separate teams, I thought, you know what? Together we said, let's discuss it and put it out there to everyone. So before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're watching, this is just mine and Sam's opinion on who we think gets into the combined 11. It's not concrete. You may agree, you may disagree, but this is what it's all about. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. So without further, let's get into this. So I want to try something actually. Sam, if I take us out of the stream and just put what I need to put on there, that should be all right, shouldn't it?
Oh, have you got it lined up already? Is it something on the screen?
No, I'm going to put it up there now on the screen. So if I put it up.
Yeah. Right. You want to put it? Yeah, come on.
I want to do full screen. So if I took us two off.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like that?
Cool. That's fine. That's perfect. Right. So both the teams I've got lined up.
This is going to be good, isn't it?
This is going to be good. Because what I've done is I've put both the players.
See that little hide button? Press hide on that thingy there.
Yeah, let me hide that. There we go. Okay, right. Let's move. Okay, so let's start with this because I think Sean's already watching and he's saying, oh no, combined 11, the YouTube equivalent of
Half and half scarf. He's true.
Love it, Sean. Absolutely love it. But you know what? Everyone's doing it. So, right.
It's never going to be, listen, it's never going to be an exact science. This is just opinion. No. So people don't lose your minds over it.
This is it. Right. So, Hugo Lloris, Aaron Ramsdale. Talk about it. Come on. Who are we having as a keeper?
Right. So I'm going to go with. Right. Okay. Ramsdale's played well. He's played well for Arsenal. I think since he's come to Arsenal, he's been one of their star performers. And to be fair, he's kept goal well. So last season, I think he was one of their better players. But then he had to be because they were struggling at times. They went on a bit of a good run, and then again they had an ups and downs. This season he's been pretty consistent. I still think there's something in him that I just kind of, is he ready for that next level, i.e. international level? When I look at him in international games, I'm not convinced. Lloris, France captain, winner of the World Cup, and people say, oh, but he's not won anything with Spurs. But there's a reason why he's France captain, very experienced. You know, Lloris does have a mistake in him as well, but I think most keepers do at the top sort of level. You know, we can look at Man City's keepers and say the same thing. We can look at Alisson. So take that aside, who's the most consistent over the period that he's been at Spurs? I would say Hugo Lloris has been an excellent goalkeeper for us, and I will go him all day long, all day.
Okay. I said this yesterday on the stream. I think we went on the Arsenal one, and I did say, obviously, when they said players to look out for, I did say that Aaron Ramsdale is a good upcoming young keeper, potential England #1. He, you know, it's what he does. You know, it's the shenanigans I like about him as well. Because I think last season, was it against Newcastle or somebody, where he saved the penalty or something, and then he's looking back at the fans and giving them back chat and stuff like that. He's a good shot stopper as well. But for me, if you're going for a keeper out of these two, pure, and like you've said it, he's won World Cup. He's France's #1. Experience. He's got a hell of a lot of experience, you know, and you can't beat that. You can't beat that because on his day, I mean, and he's shown it this season, Lloris is top notch. He's made some absolute, you know, blinding saves against Leicester as well. He made 2 in that game. Ramsdale is a good shot stopper as well.
Agreed.
But he's a youngster. He's still learning his trade. And so for that reason, you have to go for Hugo Lloris in goal. I know you're going to get a lot of fans going, I don't understand why he's not #1. But N-dubs is N-dubs. They've gone as well. So unfortunately, Aaron Ramsdale is a good understudy to have.
I think that's a fit. People can argue it and say, what are we basing it on? Are we basing it on current form? Are we basing it on history? I think we have to base it on a combination of both. Both keepers have conceded 7 goals this season. If that's the case, you've got to look at the defense and say that might be the reasons why. So when we get into this a little bit more, we'll see whether it's the defenders who are making the difference in each team or the actual goalkeepers. Now, as Spurs fans, me and you, we've seen Lloris make some great saves in the last few games. You know, in fact, remember that Leicester game, he made some cracking saves in that. Saves. So I'm still saying Lloris because of the experience, because he literally is a World Cup winner, European Cup winner as well. Not European, sorry.
European Championships.
European champion. So he's got the medals there in terms of the top level.
Yeah. And you know what? If we're all going to go on medals, I know Arsenal fans are always talking about trophies, medals, then Hugo gets that because he's got the World Cup, he's got the European Championships. Plus, I think experience as well. He's been there. He's been doing it for how many years? So we have to put him in goal. Right. This is now. So they're right back at the moment. They've got Tomiyasu, right?
I said yesterday, Tomiyasu. That's what I'm calling him.
Tomiyasu. They've also got Ben White playing at right back. Right. And then does Cedric play as a right back?
Yes, he does.
Right. So that's their 3 right backs, right? Now, in the white corner, we have Emerson Royal, Matt Doherty, Jed Spence. Okay. So let's right. I'm going to start on this one. I'm going to eliminate Jed Spence purely because not enough experience for me in the Premiership. He's only done one game, 1 minute of football in the Premiership. Great potential. Nottingham Forest last season, he done really well. And so I can't, to be fair, I can't put him in as a right back at this precise moment. Do you agree with that one, or
there's no way we can put Louis? I think this one probably should be fairly easy. I believe it's going to be an Arsenal player. We haven't seen much of Matt Doherty this season, and again, we have to kind of look at this season. So take him out as well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say my point on Emerson. Although Emerson has improved, and with reading the stories today, if all was to be believed, he's been spending up to nearly £1 million to improve his game. Hyperbaric chamber, etc., neuroside, all these sort of things, which again you have to kind of, is it paper talk or is it real? There must be something behind it. He looks like he's improved. Is he what we actually want going forward? I think we can definitely say I'd want to see more attack. I want to see more dominance from an attacking perspective, but his defensive numbers stack up from a Conte point of view. But I'm looking at Ben White this season, having played that right back. We haven't seen much of Tomiyasu, so I don't know, again, this season, whether or not he's going to, develop into something great. Darius would say that he'd rather have him than Emerson Royal. I'm just going with a player that I think is probably performing the best in that position at this moment. And you kind of look at it, there's two different positions, wing back and full back. I'm going to have to go with Ben White. As sad as that might be, I'm going to have to.
So the other thing about Emerson Royal I'm talking about, have you seen his TikTok video?
not his new one. Is he put out something new? No.
It's the one outside on the street where he's giving it all this. Oh my days, mate. It's beautiful. It's lovely doing his dance. So we're taking him out as well, right?
In all fairness, I think we'd be arguing over a point of what do we look at from a wing back, full back. I look at, the modern day fullback stroke wing back has got to be attacking, part of the attack. In our system, the wing backs have to be more in the attack than defense, I would imagine, although they have to be good defenders. For that reason, I'm not gonna pick Royal over one of them other two. So
fine. I agree. Cedric Suarez, as Gunza said this afternoon as well when he was chatting to him, he said get rid of him. He said
get rid of him.
He was one of them. We're left with these two. So I think you've already touched on Tomiyasu. He's not played.
Not seen him.
We've not seen him. I mean, potential, and me and Darius discussed this was it yesterday afternoon with them on the Arsenal channel. Potential was there. Last summer, on Sid Says, I said we need to get him, and we was almost that close to getting him. And then Daniel Levy done what Daniel Levy does. Yeah. And he ended up at Arsenal. Arsenal fans keep going on about how he pocketed Son last season in one game, but then after that, he sort of disappeared. Injury prone, he's not played a lot of football this season. So for me, he doesn't get in. And I agree with you. Ben White has been a centre-back who's playing right back for them at the moment. And he's done a decent job. I mean, he's lost his place in the England team because somebody who doesn't play football for a living is getting into the England team, who can't get into his own club team. So he's lost his centre-back position. So at right back, I think we both agree. Ben White?
Yep.
Cool. So Ben White takes the right back slot. Okay. Left back slot. Or left. Right. Before we go any further, sorry, I should have said this at the beginning. What formation are we going to go for, Sam?
I think to keep everything in, I guess, sort of perspectives, I think we're going to have to go a 4-3-3 because that way we can fit the three front players in. Yeah. I know our midfield isn't made up of a 3, but we're going to have to try and work it out somehow. So, yeah, okay. I think so. And we could do a 3-4-3, but I don't think that's really, I don't know.
Yeah, so we want to go for a 4-3-3, right?
Yeah, we could do a 4-4-2, but nobody plays 4-4-2 these days, or not that much anyway. So
okay, let's go 4-3-3. Right. So
again, don't lose your mind, peoples. We're just trying to fit things in here. It might not always work out how you want it.
Exactly. I mean, this there's a pool of talented players there. We could go with the Arsenal system. We can go with Conte's system. But myself and Sam, we're just going to go with what we feel with the players that we've got at hand would be the best system to fit the best players into that team. Am I right, Sam?
Correct.
Cool. Right. Right back. Sorry, left back. Perisic. Sessegnon. Where's he? Who else have I got in there? I've got somebody else in there. Who am I missing at left back? Left wing back.
We ain't really got another left wing back, I would say, unless you put Ben Davies or Longlet, but they're going to be the centre backs in the four. So again, we could look at it like that, because in a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, Ben Davies isn't really going to make one of the centre backs, but he could potentially make a left back in this system.
Okay, so let's put him as centre back. For Arsenal, we have left back. I think he plays left back, doesn't he? Holding.
Who's that?
Isn't that Holding?
Because he's got hair, maybe.
Not Holding, sorry. Tierney. That's Tierney.
Oh, yeah, that's Tierney. Again, another one.
And then we got Holding, and I think they've only got two left back.
Zinchenko might be.
And Zinchenko, there he is. Right. So I'll let you go first on this one. Which side do you want to start on, left or right?
I'm keeping this easy. There's no Arsenal left back. I don't give a toss whether Zinchenko is this hybrid midfielder. He's not good enough. I've seen him be skinned many times, even by our players. So I'm not having him. I'm not having Rob Holding. We've seen what Son done to him. He's not even really a left back anyway.
Okay, you say Zinchenko can go as well, yeah? Yeah,
Zinchenko can get rid of him.
Okay.
I'm probably going to say that I've seen Tierney very attacking. He could be one that could actually be somebody that could maybe get into our system in terms of a wing back, because he is very attacking. Defensively, I'm not entirely sure. But again, look at who we've got. Ivan Perisic, again, Champions League winner, multiple titles. Over all them players that we've got, Sessegnon is not at his level. Ben Davies is definitely not at his level. Perisic is higher quality than all the Arsenal players at left back, in my opinion. So simple for me.
Perisic, yeah. Right. So for me, like you said, Perisic is just world class, would we say? He's just solid. I mean, he's done it at Inter Milan, he does it at Croatia, he's been doing it for what games he's played for us at Spurs. However, Tierney, for me, at Celtic, was an absolute baller. And I think Sean has just said it as well. He said, Tierney, he is a baller. He is, like you said, mate, he up and down that wing, he creates, he scores every now and then as well. He's very tenacious. He's a very, very good left back. But he's been injured quite a lot, hasn't he? He's come back from a few injuries.
Yeah, he has. And he's not the first choice at this moment in time.
No.
If both of them are fit in terms of Zinchenko and him, it seems like Arsenal are choosing Zinchenko over him. So maybe because Zinchenko's maybe got a bit more defensive solidity over Tierney, maybe because they feel that his long-term fitness is probably better than Tierney. So maybe Tierney's going to play a little bit less so they can keep him fit. But for whatever reason, they're not playing him as first choice. And for that reason, Ivan Perisic is got to be. It's got to be. I just can't. There's no argument for me.
I agree with you. I mean, you know what? If Tierney was fit, right, then I think Tierney gets in. If he was fully fit and he was playing left back now for Arsenal consistently on a consistent basis, then for me, it would have been a very, very tough choice between Perisic and Tierney, and probably Tierney would have sneaked in. But like you said, because of his injuries, he's got to go as well. He's got to go. Unfortunately, the tea's gone cold. Is wondering why. Right, centre backs. Here we go. So we've got.
We're only going to be able to get two centre backs in here. So again, I think this is going to be quite easy.
Yeah, I know. But we've got Gabriel, because dreams can come true. We've got Saliba. And then in the white corner, we've got Sanchez, Romero. Sorry, where's he gone? What's going on? Okay, we've got Sanchez, Christian Romero, Lenglet, and Eric Dyer. So Langley's got to go because he's not played enough for me. Sanchez has got to go because
he's got to go. He's just got to go.
Yeah. Right. So we're now left with Romero, Eric Dyer, Saliba, and Gabriel. Fire away, my friend.
Okay, so I've watched Arsenal's defense this season. They've improved. Certainly are keeping more clean sheets as we've seen. Less goals conceded. That to me has been the introduction of Saliba. He, alongside Gabriel, has made a solid partnership. Gabriel for me is a bit suspect in terms of how I've seen him play. Now, not everybody, but a lot of Arsenal fans say, "Oh, you can't drop Gabriel." Well, I don't think he's as good as maybe he thinks he is. Saliba's come in and shown what a young player who's been on loans, come back, and is actually now probably their number one centre-back. I think he's got to go now. In the system we're playing with a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, sorry, we're only going to have two centre-backs. He would form one of them. From a Spurs perspective, I don't think Eric Dyer plays well in a two. I think we've seen that ourselves. I just don't think he's got the quality. I don't think he's got the pace. He's definitely got the leadership, but he can get caught out. Our main defender, we all know our star defender is going to be Christian Romero. And I think he could play in any defense, in any world football of any team. So I'm going to say he has to be. So I'm looking at Saliba and Romero. If I was going to play a two at the back, them two would be my starting two.
Okay. I agree with what you're saying in terms of Eric Dyer. In a three, all day long. Obviously with Romero, because they've got it together as a three, because he can cover, he can bring the ball out. However, in a two, he struggles. And even Gareth Southgate said that if I'm playing the three at the back, then Eric Dyer comes in. However, when it comes to a four, two at the back, I can't. It's not trusting him. It's just, I don't think Eric Dyer's got it in him to play with two as a second pairing. He has to have two more with him.
So I was going to say he's just a bit more exposed. In a two-man defense, you've got to be you've got to have pace, you've got to have the strength, you've got to be able to, you've got to have a partnership that they all know what they're doing, or both the players know what they're doing, and they can work together. Now, I think from a leadership perspective, he's good, but we've seen he does make mistakes. He does seem to make mistakes under little pressure. I don't like to see that from my defender. He tries to play some Hollywood balls. Some of them come off, some of them don't. I just think he's in our team because we're playing a back three and because he has got that ability to communicate well across the back line, multiple languages and all that. But in a two, I couldn't trust him enough to put him in a two.
So we're getting Eric gone. Right. So for me, Gabriel done well last season. Obviously because Saliba wasn't there. He was out on loan a lot. Gabriel was prone to make mistakes as well. I know, like you said, Sam, a lot of Arsenal fans will be saying, well, hold on a second, Gabriel and Saliba easily get in. But spoken to a few Arsenal fans as well, and they've said that Romero is just some next level. So we've got to have Romero in there. And for me, I think I'm just going started this season 7-8 games as well, and I've seen Saliba and he's just a beast. He gets forward. He's scoring goals as well, which from a centre-back, I wish our centre-backs could do that because he seems to be getting on the score sheet quite a lot. And it's a tough choice, yeah? And it's one of them, isn't it, Colonel Abrahams? Should I listen to what you say or listen to what my folks say? It's a tough decision to make. But I think you're right, and we have to go with Saliba. So Saliba has to get into this team. So we go with Saliba and Christian Romero as our two centre-backs. So at the moment, as you can see, we're split in the middle, two on each side. So
but the goalkeepers are, so we're winning 3-2.
The keepers are, keepers are. We're winning. Right. Again, just to reiterate to everyone, this is purely my and Sam's 11 in the formation we've decided to play, which is a 4-3-3. And as it stands, these are the best players that we potentially think, if we was to field the team and myself and Sam was the managers, then this is what we would pick. Everyone's going to have your own opinions. You're entitled to your own opinions, but if you feel any different, please, in the comment section, just give us the names of the players that you think should be in there. Or, as we're putting the players in positions, when we put the players on screen, put your suggestions in.
Put them in the chat.
Yeah, do it in the chat. I know Sean's doing it in the chat, so it's good to hear. Right. 3 in the middle.
Yeah.
And the little one said, roll over. Right. So
are we playing a 4-2-3-1 or a traditional 4-1-2-3? That might change my opinion about who goes in this team.
This is a good question. We're going with 3, right? So if we're going with 3, what are we going to do? Are we going to have 1 holding, 2 in front, or are we going to have 2 and 1 in front of them?
So the majority of the teams, well, we've seen it in the past, we're playing a 4-2, was it a 4-2-1-3, if you think about it, with the two double pivots and then 1 in front. Yeah, I think that's what we should do personally, because I think that might make it a little bit more even to be able to get players in on both sides. Right.
So shall I bang the players in, and then 4, you 2, can 3, decide. 1. I'll do 1 by 1, and then you can tell me. Right, Brian Hill, because then what we'll do, shall I put them all in, or shall we just do it 1 by 1?
1 by 1. Let's just try and see if we can pick. Let's pick the double pivot, the 2 in the double pivot behind, right. And then we'll pick the 1 in front.
Okay, let's do the pivots then, right? So if we're going to do the pivot, then we've got Skip, we've got Højbjerg, we've got Benny, we've got Basuma. Now, before we move on to Arsenal, Basuma, because of his lack of game time and whatever, what we're doing with him, are we eliminating him straight?
Him and Skip, I think we have to eliminate straight away.
Eliminate, yeah, because they're both coming back from injuries and one's not getting in and that, right? So we're down to 2. We're down to Højbjerg and Bentancur for us, right? For them, you got Xhaka, Odegaard, El Neni, and am I missing? No, am I missing?
No,
that's it.
Party.
Oh, Thomas Partey to the party. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Right. Who are we eliminating from them? El Neni can go.
El Neni can go.
Okay.
I think that's it. You go first on this one.
Right. So for me, this is going to be an interesting one. This is difficult. This is difficult, right? Bentancur's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. Going forward, breaking up play, picking the ball up and passing it around. However, if we're going for 2 in the middle and the 1 in front, then for me is this guy, the Viking, because we've been to games, Sam. We've seen him play, and he gets them by the scruff of the neck. Yes, he has given the ball away every now and then, but the commitment, the passion, he's the one that gets the fans roaring. He's the one that's getting the fans passionate. His passing is getting better. He's now becoming a box-to-box player as well, because he's scoring goals. He's breaking up play. So for me, I would go with Bentancur as one of them. And then the other 3, Odegaard. See, Odegaard doesn't fit into this one for me, because he'd have to be in front of them 2. That's my opinion.
So that's what I'm saying. In a 4-2-3-1, that might make a difference to how I see it. But again, go through yours and then we'll see.
Right. And then it's a tough between Partey and Xhaka for me. The problem is, if I put Xhaka next to Højbjerg, that puts him in that position where he's prone to get stupid fouls away, give the ball away, get red carded or whatever. They've moved him forward this season, and he's scoring goals and he's playing a lot better. And a lot of Arsenal fans are saying he's playing a lot better. Partey, on the other hand, good at break-up play, good on the ball. Only thing with him is he's got the shot of Stefan Freund where he's finding raw Zeds and whatever. So for me, if we're going to go with the 2 in the middle, then for me, it's these 2, Partey and Højbjerg.
I'm agree with that. Don't need to do any more now. The reasons I'm saying that is because if you look at it from a double pivot, that's a more defensive shape when you play the 4-2-3-1. So I'm looking at those 2, and I said Partey for me, he's got to go in there. If Basuma was playing regularly, had we seen the Basuma from Brighton last year, I would have put him alongside Partey. But as you said, Højbjerg has been fantastic for us. Playing in a two-man midfield, looks like he's got an increased engine. He's got some goals in him as well. But in a double pivot, we've seen him playing that 4-2-3-1, and he played there well. So he's dropped into the mid, he's dropped into the centre back area. He gets around the pitch, he breaks things up, and now we've seen it. He's added a little bit more dynamism to his game, gets forward and scores some goals. Partey and Højbjerg in that double pivot if we're playing a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, right. So we've got so that's them two. So Bentancur can go as well. Hill can go as well. Right. So now we're playing one in front, yeah?
Yeah, I think this is already a job done already, if I'm honest with you.
Right. So who are we going to put in? Right. So I'm going to put them all in.
Yeah, I don't even think we've really got a traditional number 10 in that sense.
Well, we haven't.
Who could really play there. You could look at Harry Kane as being our type of number 10 because of what he does for us in our team, but he's not a traditional number 10. If we're going to keep this argument short, Martin Odegaard goes in as that position easily.
Yeah, because I think out of all of them, he's the only one that's naturally play in that position because he can create. Yeah, he gets stuck in as well. And if you want anyone to spread the ball around, then this is the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
okay.
agree with that. I'm good.
Cool. All right. So now we're going to go with, I'm just going to put them in here and then we decide what you want to do. So you got Saka, you got Emil Smith Rowe, you got, where's Saka gone? Hey, where's Saka gone? I've lost Saka.
There he is.
There he is. He's hiding away. Right. So we've got Saka.
And you can bring them over. Oh, yes, it's 43. Yeah.
43.
So, yeah. Go on. Eddie in Kitty Cat, he's supposed to be a striker, isn't he? Because he's got the number 14 shirt, supposedly.
This is it. So then we've got, what have we got? 4. How many have we got at the moment? 3, 7, 8. So we've got 3 more to go, innit? Yeah. So we're going to have Richarlison, Son, and that's it. Yep. Right. So, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll do this. This is going to be, I don't know if it's controversial, but it's certainly going to be a bit more talking about. So again, we have to be honest, we have to be realistic. Son, I don't think he's got any competition necessarily. He didn't have Martinelli. Oh yeah, Martinelli is there. Martinelli, you could say plays on that left-hand side. Would you put him ahead of Son? Not a chance. No. Not on any Sunday, not on any given day. So Son has got to play on that left-hand side of a 4-2-3-1 in that free position, in my opinion. This is where it's getting a little bit more difficult because on that right-hand side now, I love Kulusevski. Obviously, as a Spurs fan, I love what he's doing. I love Richarlison because he can play across all 3 positions as well in terms of the front 3, if we're looking at a right side, left side, and a striker. But I would be silly to say that, Bukayo Saka doesn't deserve to get in this team on the right-hand side. I think he has to. My 3 across the middle, not involving the striker, is probably going to be Saka. Then you're going to see Odegaard, and then I think you're going to have Son on that left-hand side, in my opinion.
Right. I think Martinelli is a cracking player, but you've nailed it. With him and Son, there's no competition, chance. So he's got to go. Richarlison is a tricky one because you speak to any Everton fan and Arsenal fan, and he's terrorised Arsenal.
I know.
He's terrorised them a hell of a lot. But even if you ask Richarlison, what is your actual position? Because he can play right, he can play in left, and he can also play in the middle.
Yeah.
And at the moment for Brazil, he's playing as the number 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you're going to play him up top, then you can't because Kane's there.
Exactly.
So that's a tough one to make. Right. For me, I still think it's them 3, but
yeah, fighting for that position. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to take out Richarlison.
Who's this Peter Hayward?
I don't know who he is. But then
don't watch then.
Exactly. He's on the channel. He's watching it. So, right. This is a debate, and this is a debate that's been going on for a long time, and I think it's going to continue for a long time, is who's better, Kulu or Saka? And and you've said Saka, right? Obviously, but
let me go a little bit of an explanation. I just want to. We have to see what Saka does for that Arsenal. A lot of their attacks go down that side through him. You know, I would say that in terms of consistency, in terms of attack down that side, that's where Arsenal attack down that right-hand side with him. He, again, young. He's younger than Kulusevski, is he not?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. As a Spurs fan, I want to throw Kulusevski in there. But again, he's only been in the league since January. Saka's been in this Arsenal team since he's been 18, 19 years of age. So again, I'm looking at what he's doing for them with that weight on his shoulders. He's made England appearances. I know he had the unfortunate thing in the Euros where he missed the penalty and all the rest of it, but he's still making that team. Made a difference when he came on in the game against Germany. He's got a big future ahead of him. Massive future. Kulusevski has as well. But I'm just looking at the point that Saka's probably played more in terms of the top level for his club than Kulusevski has for us at this present time. That's the only reason I'm going to go with that.
And do you know what, Sam? I think, right, on that basis, I think you're right, because had Kulu been in the Prem a lot longer, and been doing what he's been doing, I think he gets in.
He's a massive player for us. He's going to be a massive player in the future for us. Player. And I think he's got that, he's got that sort of like, and the people that might laugh at, I think he's got that Kevin De Bruyne about him. He just looks like that player that, you know what I mean? He can do more than just what it says on the tin, if that makes sense. He can drift in, he can, you know what I mean, cuts inside. He's got a great cross on him. His passing range is good as well. He seems to know the game very well. I think he can develop, and you never know, he could possibly develop into that potential number 10 that we don't have. I don't know. I'm just kind of putting it out there in what I see in his qualities. At this moment, he's playing from that right-hand side and doing very well. His assists and goals stack up. And that's the other thing. Saka doesn't have as much in terms of numbers, but what Gumza explained yesterday, it made a lot of sense. He creates so much more for others then to get the assists and goals. So Saka is very important for them from that perspective. Whereas Kulusevski, we've got so many more threats that our direct threat comes from Harry Kane, Son, but Kulusevski's now joined in that party, as is Richarlison. So it's a tough one, but that's my reasonings anyway.
Yeah, do you know, I think if we would have done this next season or ended this season, then it would have been a lot harder and the toughest decision to make between Saka and Kulu. And I totally agree with what you're saying. Kulu has been phenomenal for us, but he's only been here 6 months or so, whereas Saka's been a lot longer, and he's done it in the Prem. He's done it for England as well. Kulu's doing it as well.
Yeah,
but
it's a very, very good argument, and probably one that maybe could be a Saka versus Kulusevski show, where we could look at the attributes and see where we think these players are going to go. But there's no right or wrong on Arsenal on this one.
It's going to be that one of them debates where you're going to be arguing all day long, every day for the next century about who's better. So I agree with you as well. I think Kulu is top notch, but because of Saka as well, I'm still.
It's hard, isn't it? It's not easy. This one, it's really not easy. But your choice. You got the final say on this one, mate. You got the final say.
I honestly think it's 50-50. It's very, very tough. And if I could split them in half, which I'm gonna do that.
Oh no, it's the half and half scarves. Sean, he's gone and done it. He's only done the half and half scarf.
I'm sorry, I've got to do it. Actually, Sean, please, in the comment section, I know you're watching. Can you end this debate once and for all for us, please? Who are you picking out of Saka and Kulusevski? We're in a bit of a pickle, as you would say.
Ask in the chat. Who do you think, people? Put in the chat who you think.
Please, people,
I know we're Spurs fans in here, but we have to try and be a little bit, you know, what's the word we're looking for?
Conservative. Not even conservative, but I'm going to put it in the comment section, please, people. Can you please help us out here. Saka or Kulu? Saka or Kulu? So while we leave that to our general public in the comment section, there you go. In terms of numbers, Kulusevski has it over Saka. Goals, assists.
Yeah, exactly what I said. But when you look at what Saka does, he creates so much, because you might, as Ganzo would say, you'll beat a man, he'll then pass it on to someone else. So they've created that gap, they've created that attacking area, which they do through him, and then somebody else might take the reins. And because of the way Arsenal play, they're not as direct as us. So there's always maybe an extra pass or two before they get into goal scoring positions. Whereas, you know, with us, Kulusevski might beat his man, comes inside as a shot, or comes inside, pass it to Kane or pass it to Son, and then it's a direct goal attempt. Hence the reason why he's probably got more assists. Saka would create space, beat one or two players, maybe pass it into Odegaard. Odegaard then creates something, and then they get the goal from Jesus. So that's what I've seen. So his numbers won't stack up in that sense.
Yeah.
But he's probably more important to Arsenal than Kulusevski is to Spurs.
I agree. And we've got, well, we've only got two so far, but Sean Hurl is saying, in terms of numbers, Kulu has it over Saka, goals, etc. Yeah. And then Dino Dinosaur, good evening, Dino, is saying Saka with a bit of a, do I have to?
I'm the same. I feel it. I don't like to put Arsenal players in here, but if we're going to do this fairly, we have to look at this logically. We have to look at this from an open view. And yeah, Saka is an important player for Arsenal, as Kulusevski is for us, but more so.
Absolutely. But, and I think, like I said before, if we're going to look into this further down the line, like maybe next season or end of the season and that, then probably Kulu over time will probably get better and better, and we'll probably say, yeah, he has to fit in that team. But
agreed.
I think I agree now, and I'm gonna say we got
we got rid of the half and half, Sean. Thank goodness, because we would get grief for that. We'd get grief.
Right.
Don't need to talk. No, come on now, Sid. Do we even need to talk about this one? This is ridiculous. Don't even. You can't. Yeah, thank you. Get rid of Eddie Catty, whatever his name is. He don't need to be talked about. I don't even know if we have to talk about Gabriel Jesus if we're comparing him to Harry Kane, in my opinion. But we can have a talk about it. Let's do it anyway.
But like I said, we can't just kick him out. You know what I mean? We've got to discuss every player.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, we've got to discuss every player in the respective positions. And as it stands here, we've got to. Where am I going? Oh, okay. Yeah, we have to speak about them too. So, right, Jesus, Harry Kane. Simple as, which one are we having? I know it's not even up for debate, is it really?
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's just not. For me, this is where's Harry Kane in the scoring list in the Premier League? Third now behind Alan Shearer and Andy Cole. He's overtaken Rooney, has he not? Yeah, I believe that's the case.
Yeah.
He's just behind Rooney in the England all-time goal-scoring charts. He's got over 50 goals internationally. He's 28, 29 years of age. Harry Kane has scored in X amount of North London derbies. Probably he is the top leading goal scorer in North London derbies. And he's got plenty more derbies to come. So he's going to score plenty more goals. We don't need to... Yes, we can look at what he's won. We can say, he ain't won nothing at Spurs. He ain't won nothing with England. Blah, 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 blah. But his personal numbers, if you're looking for a number 9, City were willing to pay 100 million for him. City let Jesus go. That's what I'm trying to tell you. City let Jesus go. They were willing to pay, reportedly, according to Josh, 130 million for Harry Kane. If Man City was to go back for a player, they're not going to come back in for Gabriel Jesus. They would come back in potentially for Harry Kane. It speaks for itself. That's job done. They need Jesus. We don't need Jesus. We don't need Jesus.
You know what? Jesus was he's a good player. He was at Man City. But again, if he's supposed to be the number 9, he wasn't the number 9 at City, because City never ever played with number 9, or they probably didn't trust him to be played at number 9. And he done well for what he done, obviously. But then again, when you've got Kevin De Bruyne feeding you, you know what? even I could probably score goals. Even you could probably score goals, Sam. And Sean, anyone could have probably scored goals. So if you're going to go with a striker, and it's not, I think I agree with you, mate. It's not even up for debate because Harry Kane is Harry Kane. No matter what, whether you're a hater or a lover or whatever, Harry Kane is the real deal. He's the main man. I know they're all going to turn around and say, well, he's not won any trophies. He's not, what has he done? What has he done?
That's the argument. That's the only argument. But then you would say, well, Gabriel Jesus has won trophies with Man City, but has he been the main reason why they've won trophies? If you took him out of the squad, Man City would have still won trophies. If you take Harry Kane out of our team for any length of time, i.e. a season, we don't finish in the same positions that we would do. We wouldn't.
I agree. I totally agree with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Ooh, it's not bad though, is it?
And Sam have the best 11. This is, we've discussed it. This is what we feel currently out of the two squads of players that we have. Biased or not biased. But in goal, Hugo Lloris. Ben White as your right back. And we've gone for a 4-2-1-3 formation or a 4-3-3 formation because we think this team can defend. They can defend from the midfield and attack from the midfield. We have an attacking player and we've got forward three that will smash any team on the day, any day. Hugo Lloris in goal, Ben White, Saliba, Romero and Perisic, with Partey and Højbjerg in the middle, Odegaard in front of them, sitting in front of them, supplying Saka, Son, and Harry Kane up top. If anyone disagrees, or if anyone thinks anybody else should be in any other positions, then in the comment sections, please leave your player or positions that you would probably change. I'm happy with this team. I think we've got 5 Arsenal players. We've got 6 Spurs players.
Yeah. The one little, I guess, a bit of an argument. You could argue the Kulusevski and Saka one potentially.
Yes.
You could potentially say, is Ben White a natural right back? He really is a centre back more so, but he has played right back when he was at where was he at Brighton before? Was it Brighton?
Brighton.
Yeah, so he's played there. We haven't got enough right backs who have played this season to compare, but I look at our potential in someone like Spence, and I think, he could potentially be that, but we can't just go off potential. We have to look and see what players have done. That's the reason. But everything else, Ramsdale's not getting ahead of Lloris. No. In a 4-2-2 or 4 at the back, Romero has to be in there, and I think Saliba has. You could maybe argue Gabriel, but I don't think so. Perisic, Tierney that was another close one. The Tierney, even Perisic.
A fully fit Tierney for me.
Yeah.
Fully fit gives Perisic a hell of a lot of competition.
100% agreed.
Yeah. And then obviously the middle two speaks for themselves.
I think those midfield two with Partey. Yeah. Partey's obviously, he seems now comfortable in that position. And when we were playing a 4-2-3-1, which we have done on Jose, which we did do a little bit under Nuno, Højbjerg was in that position and he was effective. Before Bentancur arrived, we were relying on Højbjerg. We so much reliant on him that we knew that he had to get a rest and he didn't get rest. So he's that important in our system, in our team, in our squad. I think he has to go in. But Odegaard, we don't play over 10. I think that's fair. Son, Kane get into any team in world football for me.
Right, I agree. And we and you are going to manage this on YouTube, and we are going to manage this whatever. But JC in the house has got a question. Okay, I'll let you fire away first, and then I'll ask you.
JC,
who manages this mob?
Come on now, JC. I didn't even want to go there because I thought it was just a given. It's not even a question. It's not even a question.
Ryan Mason.
Come on. If we're saying that Cone Man down the road is going to be more in tuned to these players to be able to manage an all-star 11, who would you trust to manage an all-star 11? Conte or Cone Man? Cone Man, no, not for me.
Did you mention a photographer? The Arsenal photographer, yeah, he's 1 minute of stardom that you got on the All or Nothing channel there.
Exactly. That's the levels that we're at, where Koeman has to tell his photographer to give a team tour. Can you imagine Conte saying to his photographer, I want you to give the team tour? Never in a fucking million years, Sid.
I know.
We know the players have said, players from Spurs have said, and players not just at Spurs, throughout Conte's reign have said, his man management, his ability to motivate. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen some of the All or Nothing with the Arsenal, and, you know, Koeman does seem to be able to get these players motivated. He's got these little things, and he did his little story, and he did blah, blah, blah. But there's levels to this shit. You know, there's levels to this shit. And our manager is levels above Mikel Arteta, and he will even admit that himself, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's never in doubt, is it? It's absolutely not in doubt. And JC's admitted it as well. Never in doubt, fellas. It's got to be Conte, because
never in doubt, JC.
Not even no.
Now,
I didn't.
All right.
Go on. No, go.
If you're gonna put what's his name in there, our oh bloody hell, his name's just got not Nuno. Who before Nuno came in?
Jose.
No, after Jose, the interim manager. I forgot his name. It's just gone out of my head. Our player,
Ryan Mason.
Ryan Mason. Now, if you put Ryan Mason and Arteta together, you might have an argument that Arteta's better than him. Yeah, I would agree with that one. Nuno. You could even say, but Nuno has got more experience. Jose, definitely not. And Conte, not in a million. Not even. Anyway, I'm done with that argument.
That's that. You know what? It's not even up for debate, is it? It's not even up for debate. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's the North London best 11 as done by Sid Spurs and Sam Spurs for Life. Hope you enjoyed the show. Most importantly, it's just a bit of fun. It was just our opinions and just, you know, Friday night, weather's not that good. So we thought, you know what, let's put on a show for you guys and ladies as well. So hope you enjoyed the show. Obviously, there's 12:30 tomorrow. There's something massive going on tomorrow. How excited are you, Sam?
You know what? It's always excitement until you get to kick off. I think, no, not even kick off. When you see the teams line up, then you're thinking, it's either or yeah, and then it's kickoff, and it's like, oh, I just get into a zone. I don't want to talk. I can't. You just don't know what's going to happen, because you know that these games are always tight, always close, and always competitive. So, best team win, or I think it's a draw. But anyway, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, you've predicted a draw, ain't you? And I've predicted a draw.
I predicted a draw on the Armory, but I predicted a win for us. 2-1.
Oh, okay, cool. Right. Enjoy your Friday evening, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. And hopefully tomorrow afternoon, come 2:15, we'll be singing, "Come on, you Spurs." Go on.
Oh, I was thinking, what's he doing? What's going on? I was going to say, don't forget, reaction show tomorrow, about 2:30 after the game. We're here regardless of a win, lose, draw, and hopefully we might have a few gooners who might get cooked or who might cook us. We don't know. Let's see. That's it.
That's it. Enjoy your Friday evening, like I said, and enjoy tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be an absolute cracker. And like I said before, come on, you Spurs!